Now, I don't need much of an excuse to buy another watch, but what better an excuse than to celebrate things? And when I was on honeymoon, I bought a Citizen's Blue Angels chronograph, and that was actually before I got really into watches again, and I've still got that and I love it. And then I bought an Oris Aquis to celebrate being with my wife for 20 years. I've achieved the grand old age of 40 this year. Not yet, it's later on, but still in my 30s, very exciting. And this video should be released when I've just surpassed a milestone I never thought I'd achieve, and that is 10,000 subscribers. So all of you that keep watching me, thanks so much for continuing to do so. It means the world to me. All this hard work pays off. So you know what you should do in life is reward yourself for these things. So you have an object to look back upon and remember these good times and all these things that you can say you've put hard work into. Or it's just a milestone. Getting older is not really something to celebrate, but I'm going to do it anyway. So yeah, for my 40th, what will I buy? That's what this video is about today. So, what will I get? Now, just to give you a heads up that I've not got all these watches to show you. The estimated value, if I bought them all this list I've got in front of me here, would probably be over £20,000, way over 20,000. And I don't have that kind of money to go, oh, I've got them all, which one shall I keep? I'm afraid I can't do that. This is all just me fantasizing, but I will make a decision, and that's worth sticking with me on this video because you'll get to see me make a very, very important watch buying decision. And why is it relevant to you guys? I know this is very personal to me, but what I'm hoping this inspires you to do is just an excuse. I mean, you buy watches all year round, like I do, constantly. But it's nice to buy something that you can celebrate these milestones. And I want to hear in the comments, basically, what have you bought? There's a bit more of a step up in value. What's your budget? Have you ever done this before? Do you have a theoretical budget for what you would splurge on? I had one because I'd saved up an amount of money which I deemed appropriate and affordable. So without me waffling on for too much longer, let's get on with it. First up, excuse me if I keep looking down, but I want, this is no particular order by the way, there's a Damasco. If you've never heard of Damasco, it's a small family-owned company. They sell about 3,000 watches a year. They are in metallurgy, if that's a word. They basically do special manipulation of metal, and they started making watches a number of decades ago because of their skills in machining and making ultra hard metals. The one I'm looking at is £1,300. You can get them in the UK, but when they're out of stock, it's a nightmare to get hold of them again. So that's another thing I'm a bit concerned about. But £1,300. It's the DK32 with an A26 in-house movement. By in-house, I mean it's a modified version of an ETA or a Solita type movement where they've effectively upgraded the weak spots in the movement, and that's the winding mechanism. And they've effectively reverse engineered upgraded the engineering, so it's actually significantly more reliable. So I just love that kind of techie nerdiness, and it's a proper tool watch. Bit bland and toolish in its styling, but very special, handmade in Germany. Next up is a cluster of FARAH watches, if that's a thing, a cluster, a collection. I'll start with the Bradfield, £768. It's got a Solita movement. It's a modern take with some colours that are beautiful of a pilot style watch, and I love pilot style watches, but this looks big in the picture, but it's actually a 40mm case size, so it's very wearable. Next up we've got the FARAH Lander Forward GMT. It's got an SW330 movement, a top grade sort of GMT movement, and this is more, it's over £1,100, but I just think it's gorgeous. Very wearable size, less than 40mm, and slim as well for a GMT watch. Gorgeous British design, Swiss made. Third up from them, I really like the look of the Resolute. This again, less than £800 with a Solita. Gorgeous spec, everyday wear, really smart looking watches. I'm thinking, I want to wear a watch all the time. I want it to be in part of my really everyday sort of rotation. These all kind of fit into that category. Next up, Formix Essence 39. I prefer the 39 size just from what I am used to wearing. I prefer slightly smaller watches generally, but I like the fact for about £1,200 you're getting something with a chronometer grade Solita, so it's been regulated in a multitude of positions, and you're getting something with amazing tech in it. It's got this amazing case design where it's got suspension effectively built into it. That's what those 4 screws on the top are. So as the watch is moving about on your wrist and compressing, it's spring loaded, so it just seems to mold to your wrist a little bit. It's a bit of a give in the case back. I just like that tech. I love all the little details. It's very contemporary looking piece. And the fact it's accurate and a good decent size and it can be worn every day, that looks really exciting. That's why it's on the list. A couple of Hamiltons. Hamilton Aviation. I like pilot watches. You're going to get a bit of a theme running through here. The Aviation, the £855 model, 38mm with the H10 movement. I just love the sizing and everything about this watch. Very vintage look, and I'm thinking, does it look special enough for me though? Something about it, I don't know why, it just looks a little bit bland. It's something I'll probably need to look at up close, but then there's a lot of these watches I may end up buying I can't actually look at because they're only available online. So that's something am I going to have to take a risk with, take a punt on, is buying something I've never seen before. Maybe I will. Now the Hamilton, very popular choice for many people, is the Hamilton Intramatic chronograph. You can get these, I've seen them in the sales even, some of the colourways for £1,100-1,200, but they retail for nearly £2,000, so they do fluctuate in price. But they do a mechanical one without a rotor, it's just manual wind only, or they do one that is automatic, so with a rotor. Again, I just think they're beautiful. I have looked at one in the shop and it was very exciting, and I thought I'm pretty close to making a decision, I think, maybe. Sticking with Swiss, I'm going for a Longines as another option I might go for. It's the Spirit. I've seen the one in the sale. It was £1,100 to £1,200, and I think Longines do fantastic value for money Swiss pieces, lots of history, lots of pedigree. And I just think this would be a great everyday wear watch because it's got a bracelet, it's got a fantastic, reliable movement. All the spec is spot on. It's a wearable 40mm size. I just think it's going to be a classy everyday wear piece. But something a little bit more dressy maybe would be the flagship Heritage. This is £1,300 and they fluctuate very little in price. A few different colourways. I like the one with the sort of champagne gold dial, silver case. Again, it's a lovely wearable 38mm case size, beautiful automatic movement. It's only splash resistant, 30 metres water resist. But you know what, I just think it's a gorgeous design. It's so clean, so crisp. It looks like a vintage piece already. What is a heritage piece, effectively. But I just think it's gorgeous. And I think it would suit me. I like vintage looking pieces, as you're going to see throughout, either contemporary or vintage. Now, this is something a bit of a Royal Oak homage. It's the Maurice Lacroix, the Acon, the 39mm case size. Apparently the build quality on these is incredible. And they got the typical, what's the movement? I didn't look that up. I think it's going to be a Salita, but for about £1,300 to £1,400, we're stretching the budget a bit higher now. But I just think from what I've read and what I've seen in reviews, it looks incredible. And I think, could I get away with this daily? I reckon I could. Another Swiss beauty, the Mido Ocean Star Tribute. These are less than £1,000, £800 to £900. You can get it in blue or a black colourway. Again, beautiful specification, beautiful design. I get the vintage look again. Divers, I love divers, but I've already got diver. So will I go down the diver route again? But the thing that's maybe put me off this a bit is it's very highly polished. Lots of polish on this watch. So I'm not quite so sure this is going to be the right one for me. I have an Oris already. Got to be careful how I say that. But it's the Oris Aquis, a previous special occasion piece I bought. But I was thinking, get something away from the divers scene. There's the Big Crown Cerveo Special Edition. Forgive my pronunciation, but they've got deer leather strap. They're very much into sustainability and they're going to go carbon neutral as soon as they possibly can. They are becoming hugely popular for many reasons. Their sustainability, their range of choice. I know they didn't have loads of models, but they have lots of variations of that model, and the fact that they have got some really interesting arty pieces as well. They've got ones with enamel hand painted dials, special editions like this special edition here. They do Movember special editions, Carl Brassier special editions, you name it. There's loads of interesting stuff coming out and I'm into them as a brand, obviously buying one already. So do I get another one? Next up, a glut of Germans. I've already mentioned a Damasco, but something with a bit more pedigree and lineage in the German watchmaking that's in the more affordable German watchmaking category is Zinn. Now, the darlings of YouTube watch reviewers, they love a beautiful Zinn. Will I fall into this category? That's something I'm tempted by because I've read so much about them. The Zinn 104 to start with, say £1,100 to £1,200 on a strap. I don't really fancy a bracelet. The 104 is a bit of a cult watch. Funny, people say it's like the ultimate one watch collection. I don't think you can have a collection if there's only one of it. I'd say it's the ultimate one watch does all, the one and done, as some people say it. It could be that. I wonder if that's the one. And if I'm really splurging, £2,000, get the 856, but the UTC movement with the GMT, with the tegimented steel, hardened, ultra hard, ultra scratch resistant. It's their own proprietary way of hardening the surface of their steel, which is already pretty hard as well. And I like that tech as well. It's a bit like Damasco. They go for this whole rugged tool watch with extra proprietary technology thrown at it. I'm really drawn to that for some reason. Because I think if I'm going to keep a watch like this for life, I want it to last and look pretty decent as long as possible. And then if I don't want to get the UTC, you can get the 856 with or without the tegimented hardening treatment, and they vary in price a lot because of that. So that's an option still. I think it's a great everyday wear watch because it can do everything really. You can dress it up, dress it down, take it to the beach. It's a kind of almost do everything kind of piece, and that's something I'm actually thinking a bit more about. It's quite important to me. Last couple before I summarise will be a tag Aqua Racer, a quartz, believe it or not, because that's within budget, £1,300. The reason why? Because my first ever luxury watch I ever bought was a tag in the year 2000. I treated myself with a little bit of inheritance money, and I basically had that for many years until I sold it, and now I regret it because it was a period of time when I wasn't massively into watches as I am again now, and if I still had it, I'd be very happy, but I missed it. So me missing it made me think of the most contemporary watch version of it I could get. It's the Aqua Racer. It's like the modern day reissue of it, if you will. And the one I had was quartz, and I was very happy with it. It was solid as a rock. So maybe I'll get another one. Lastly, something with some Italian flair. The Unimatic UC3. Something that's about £500, but it's got a quartz movement, and it's a little bit something I'm not so sure on, but I just love its monochromatic styling. So I'm really tempted to buy that one. I have a surprise for you. Would you like to see what I actually decided to buy in the end? Now, I've done all that talking, but it's all part of the process of me showing you how agonising this was, and what in the end was just a snap decision. I just felt it. It felt right. I made the decision and I bought it. So do you want to see it?